What is up, everybody? What's going down Friday? I got all kinds of toys here for the stream this week. Super excited about. Got a new stream deck. Got the 32 button XL size one, so it's awesome. Did not work for me just now. I tried to do a little bit of a, I guess a transition on my screen or whatever, and the button didn't do it, so I gotta look at that. But whatever. How you guys doing today? It's Friday. About to jump into this weekend. Been a crazy, crazy day already, but you know how it goes. How's y'all's day? We can find all my stuff here. Let's get this thing going. I have not looked at the newsletter today. Bamboo Solutions here, though, just so you know. Hey, creative in the house. Gonna do our SharePoint weekly newsletter roundup and take a look at the latest news in the SharePoint space over the last 7 days-ish. And again, if you haven't heard this already, it is a MailChimp newsletter, so you can get registered for that. I've got a great little link, a handy little link here for you to sign up with. So click that, get registered, get this in your mailbox Friday mornings around 8 a.m. Really good newsletter. All kinds of great information. If you're trying to stay on top of what's happening in the space, then you probably want to get connected to this thing. So hook yourself up. Please do. Thanks for jumping on. So in our newsletter, we go over it every Friday together at noon and just kind of talk about top news stories around the blogosphere and the SharePoint events that are coming up here, maybe in your area, so you can get plugged in, get connected, do some networking, etc. So let's just jump right into it. Let me see if my button here works on the stream deck today. Let's go screen share. Yeah. Worketh. Uh-oh, got my camera pointed the wrong way. Let's get that straight. It's not wanting to stay there. Hold up. Shh. Hold on. Is that better? There we go. All right, so let's do this. Let's check out the... let me see if I can use my Brio here. Not that anybody cares. Who wants to see Kevin on their screen, huh? I do. Little momento. A little bit. Come on, tilt just a hair. All right, good enough. All right, let's roll. So here's the newsletter. I'm going to zoom in on that so you guys can read it very well. Let's see what's Dooley saying today. Last week I went to the doctor for a cholesterol test. This week I have my worst cold of the season. Grrr. Okay. Man, like Bad Joke Friday. Top news stories. Anyways, top news stories coming from those media outlets, those commercial places, those magazines. Hey, what up, Nate? Thanks for jumping on, homie. Good to see you, man. Congrats on the home. Super exciting. I'll text you later, man. We gotta hook up. But anyways, top news stories coming from those major outlets of news, right? The magazines, the commercial blogs, the things. Around the blogosphere down here is going to be coming more from the individuals, those persons, those MVPs, those evangelists, those guys that are knee deep in the weeds, you know, hacking on this stuff. And this is where we kind of compile all the latest stuff that they've come up with as maybe tutorials or fixes for common bugs or issues, etc. And again, SharePoint events. So let's do the top news stories. What's news? What's new? What's news? What's new in SharePoint features in 2020? Oh man, excuse me. Scroll down to continue. Thank you. This coming from searchcontentmanagement.techtarget.com. Who's our author here? This is Rita Giuffani. Microsoft continues to modernize, it says, SharePoint Online in 2020, adding new features to increase user engagement. Microsoft plans to improve SharePoint user productivity when employees use the system to access and interact with their digital assets. Some of Microsoft's areas of focus include intelligent search capabilities, navigation changes, updates to the platform's user interface, and integration with Office 365 services. So let's see what's he saying down here. SharePoint integration with Microsoft Intelligent Search. Boom, shakalaka. Microsoft plans to, I skipped ahead there, but I think I'm missing something here. Recognizing the employees often struggle to locate relevant data in emails, presentations, OneDrive, and SharePoint. Microsoft plans to release an AI content search engine called Project Cortex. Yes, they did announce that at Ignite in 2019. The new service consists of AI algorithms designed to interact with Office 365 content to deliver search results that go beyond traditional keyword searches. Employees can use that AI engine to sift through all the accessible data within the Office 365 ecosystem and ask queries using natural language. Like, yeah, natural language. Should reduce the amount of time users spend browsing search results inside SharePoint for content such as contracts, email communication, presentations, and any other digital assets. All right, so Project Cortex, what's it saying? Slated plan to release during the first half of 2020, and users can expect to find that search box at the top center of all their SharePoint web pages when they sign into the SharePoint intranet. Improved navigation UI for SharePoint users. Heck yeah. What are they saying about this one? Responsive mega menus that render and display on mobile devices. Yep. The mega menu feature is appealing to developers as it provides a way to natively deliver shortcuts to different web pages in SharePoint, using one navigation menu that is able to list them under different headings. Yes. Yammer facelift. I'm pretty excited about that one. You guys use Yammer anywhere? Anybody? It's an enterprise social networking platform. If you didn't know, it's kind of like Facebook, but enterprisey. Yammer works in conjunction with SharePoint, displaying user conversation feeds through a web part from within SharePoint web pages. In 2020, Microsoft will provide users with more features, such as customizable feeds from Yammer that provide users with the ability to filter the content to what they want to see. Yep. SharePoint Spaces is in preview. So a year after introducing SharePoint Spaces, let's check that out. I haven't seen this webpage before. Immersive and engaging mixed reality. Oh yeah, we talked about this. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking of home sites or something. Yeah, we've talked about this a few times. I'm like, how does this fit into SharePoint again? But now there's a whole beautiful page here for me to learn about that. So I shall do so. Just not right now. SharePoint Spaces, though, in preview. Bring in 3D computer-generated figures along with mixed reality to SharePoint lists and enabling site visitors to interact with a virtual catalog in 3D. That's pretty cool, but I don't know how I'm going to use it. Stuff. All right, what's next? 6 reasons to deploy SharePoint in a hybrid environment. Why do I want to do that? I don't want to manage hardware. Let's see. 6 reasons to deploy this in a hybrid environment. SharePoint Hybrid is configuration and feature set that enables users in SharePoint on-prem environments to take advantage of SharePoint Online functionality. Whoop, whoop. It also enables users to access content in both the SharePoint Online and on-premises environments from a single place. So that's what Hybrid is, if you didn't know. With Hybrid, productivity services in SharePoint Online can be integrated with on-premises SharePoint servers to provide unified functionality and access to data. Where's this coming from? CMSWire. This is David Rowe over there. What's else? He's saying, for enterprises that want to gradually move their existing on-premises SharePoint server services to the cloud, SharePoint Server Hybrid provides a staged migration path. In effect, it enables users to extend high-impact SharePoint server workloads to SharePoint Online. When computing and processing demand fluctuates, hybrid cloud computing gives businesses the ability to seamlessly scale their on-prem infrastructure to the public cloud, handle any overflow. At the time of this launch, or at the time of the launch in 2019, Dux Raymond, if you don't know him, CMO of SharePoint Migration Specialist AvePoint, told CMSWire that the hybrid version delivered an enhanced hybrid experience of the platform to all users. All the good qualities of SharePoint Online are now available for on-prem users, including modern sites and communication sites and hubs. Most importantly, the new rock-solid sync feature for OneDrive makes it rock-solid, for more compelling for enterprises to retire competing files, sync, and share solutions like Box or Dropbox. So that's actually what a lot of my current projects are about. Joe, what's up, man? Thanks for jumping on. Hybrid benefits. Let's see what he says here. This is David Rowe again. So hybrid benefits being, if SharePoint Hybrid deployments act as the link between SharePoint on-premises environment and SharePoint Online in Office 365, what benefits does hybrid deployments provide you, the business user? There's a number, he says, not least of which is the fact that Microsoft made it easier to use. According to some person there at Centric, one of the major investments for Microsoft was making SharePoint Hybrid configuration easier to use. you've ever set up hybrid in the past, excuse me, you'll agree that they've made huge improvements. One sec. Man, okay. So workforce, SharePoint Hybrid enables regulatory compliance. All right, usability, SharePoint Hybrid enables users to avail of the rich features that Microsoft releases weekly and by providing users with go-to-market tools for sharing and collaborating. Cost savings, Hybrid enables users to save cost on storage, high availability, and scalability. Complexity, SharePoint Hybrid is an absolute necessity for customizations that are not supported by SharePoint Online. Right on. Thinking about full trust code solutions and things like that he's talking about. Cool. Yeah, we don't do that so much anymore. I mean, we do still do that, obviously. Here at Bamboo, we've got products that install on server side. But everything is moving to that JavaScript-based, SharePoint framework-based solution. Content silos, he says, adding new content silos even creates duplication of data and lost content islands. Amen. This is enough of a problem in standalone SharePoint implementations, let alone one where users are also being asked to jump back and forth between different sites and unique logins and blah, 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 right? It's tough. So yeah, hybrid. Governance. With emerging regulations, organizations may be required to keep sensitive content on premises, at least for now. Truth. I mean, the Security and Trust Center that they have provided us for Microsoft 365 services is pretty awesome. So if you do have those security concerns and you're looking to see if they meet the requirements that you're being held to, go check that out. Good Google search there will get you in. Dun, dun, dun. Danny Motown, what's up? Thanks for jumping on. Final thoughts. The benefits of hybrid cloud models vary from organization to organization. Product marketing manager of Jersey City, blah, blah, blah. Either for security concerns or lack of a justifiable need, they're trying to get the best of both worlds into the ROI for a shift to the cloud presents itself. For others, they simply cannot see the ROI for the effort it will take to make the move to the cloud and continue to operate server-based systems as needed for the truth. Very true. All right, let's move on to the next news story. We are 20 minutes in and we only gotten 2 of them. So here's one from Microsoft. The new Office app now generally available for Android and iOS. A few months ago, we introduced, they're saying, a new mobile app called Office. Yep. If you haven't seen it, pretty cool. It got Word, Excel, PowerPoint into a single app. So I was looking at my phone last night and I was checking that out. I've got all of the Office apps installed separately, but I also have this app installed, I believe. So I'm kind of curious why is that? Why is there a thing like that, right? So hundreds of millions of people use Office to achieve more at work, home, and school. We know many people save rich document creation or editing for their computers, of course. Phones, that's kind of tough. So they took the challenge for Office to find a better overall productivity experience that would change perceptions of how you could work on a mobile device to create an experience that was simpler, more integrated, harnessed the unique strengths of mobile devices, and truly put mobile needs at the forefront. So the Office app, they're saying, delivers several key benefits, including combining those 3 products into a way that simplifies the experience, fewer apps to download, amen to that. By integrating the Lens technology. If you haven't seen that, there used to be an app called Office Lens. I'm not sure if it's still there or not, but they integrated it, it looks like, into this. So now that you can leverage your phone's camera capabilities, like converting images into editable Word and Excel documents, scanning PDFs, capturing whiteboards with automatic digital enhancements, and that kind of yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see how well it does, It's a good point, Nate. I think it's going to do well because they already have these apps out there, and I've already been using them for quite a while, right? But now they're just kind of combining it all into a single app that you download. That's exciting. Yeah, man. Scan the docs from your phone. You get all kinds of great capabilities out of that. Like it said, converts images into editable Word documents and Excel documents. I assume in the future we could probably expect artificial intelligence and those services from Microsoft Azure to be integrated so that the Vision API and the Sentiment API and all that stuff might just come right in here, scan stuff with your phone, and bam, you got all data and content. So that's going to be exciting. Last but not least, adding new functionality for common tasks people often encounter when working on a phone. Things like making quick notes, signing PDFs, scanning QR codes, and transferring files between devices. Yep. More features coming soon. What do they got coming soon here? Word dictation. That's exciting. So now you'll be able to talk to your phone and have it write a document for you. It's going to be great. Excel card views. That's pretty neat. I've never seen that. View and edit data in an Excel table row in a simple digestible card format, so you don't have to span across columns like you normally do in Excel. That's pretty awesome. You click on a row, is that right? Open the doc, click on a row, click some button down there, and now you can view that record in sort of vertical real estate as opposed to constantly sliding to the right. That's pretty neat. Outline to PowerPoint. Write your presentation content as a simple outline and let PowerPoint Designer turn it into presentable slides. What? Dude, that's amazing. That's more of that, what is that, machine learning going into effect there? That's pretty exciting. I can quickly generate some outlines, no doubt. And then having, I will say, the new design ideas in PowerPoint, man, I love it. It's so awesome. It just takes fill some text in here, put some text here, click design ideas, and bam, beautification happens. Awesome. So anyways, get started with that. Good link there to download it if you haven't already. Cool stuff there. This one coming from Laptop Mag. Google is using scare tactics to get people to use Chrome instead of Edge. Whoop, who would have thought? Google, they're saying, let's see, Kimberly over at laptopmag.com. Google may be using scare tactics to drive internet surfers away from the new Microsoft Edge browser, of course, even though they are adopting some of the changes that Microsoft's pushing into the Google Chromium browser. They're adopting the stuff, and yet they're trying to scare people away from whatever. Could it be that the browser-dominating tech giant is shaking in its boots about the thought of losing market share to Microsoft? Of course. Is that really the sole focus of that? Nah, probably not. But Microsoft struggled for years to make Edge every user's go-to web crawler. Windows 10 PC users typically use the Microsoft Edge browser as a pathway for downloading their preferred browser, Google Chrome, which is true, did that for a long time. Google just scares me now, but whatever. That's personal thoughts there. Microsoft Edge's collections could get me to ditch Chrome. If you haven't seen that, collections are pretty neat, so don't already use Microsoft Edge new browser, go check it out. It's Chromium-based, so it's on the same foundation as the Chrome browser from Google. It's almost identical, except that Microsoft's making enhancements to it at a much more rapid pace, I feel like, than Google is. But Google's been doing that browser for a long time, so maybe they don't have all the things to change in it. But collections are really neat. Check that out. It's a way for you to like store content across the web into these collections of things. Like a new way to do bookmarking and favorites. So I use I don't know if you can see, you can't see the bottom of my screen, but I've got 4 versions of this new Microsoft Edge Chromium browser. And I think you just go to, see here, what's the URL? It used to be MicrosoftEdgeInsider.com or something like that. How to download Edge, let's see. Geez, how many pages do you need? Just send me off on my way. Okay. Bing it. Microsoft Edge. There we go. So the new version is here. Yeah, this is what I'm using. So there are like 4 versions of this browser to use. You can just use the primary one, the general release, but I've got like the dev, the beta, canary build for like developers making changes to it. So cool browser. I've enjoyed it. I've been using it for quite a while, since the first beta came out that they let us use. Interesting story though. Google using scare tactics. I didn't actually, what was Google doing to scare? According to Windows' latest, Edge users who paid a visit to the Chrome web store were great. I did see that. So one of the cool things about Microsoft Edge, since it is based on the Chromium platform there, what do you call it? Can't even remember the term now. It's based on the same fundamentals as Chrome browser, right? So they can use the same store apps. So you can literally install Google Store apps, Google Chrome browser apps into Microsoft Edge because same code kind of, you know? So that was really cool. But what Google did was they started putting a message up there now going, yo, we see you're not actually on Google Chrome and you want to use this app. You might not want to do that. You might want to stick with Google. So they're not hindering Edge users from adding Chrome extensions, but its message implies that Microsoft Edge is less. Funny stuff, right? Privacy settings are so powerful that Edge is tricking sites into thinking I have an ad block. Yeah, I've heard this already, actually. This is not, I don't think that's new news. That happened, I think, initially when Edge started to release or whatever. But anyways, on Microsoft here, here's what's coming next for Microsoft's Chromium-based Edge browser. What is coming next? Look at this, big list. All right. So plan for February. Interesting spelling, February. Favorite sync issues, including sync not working, deleted favorites reappearing, and favorites being duplicated. Enable sync of installed browser extensions, option to set a custom photo. Need for better handling of links when there is more than one profile. Enable sync of browsing history between devices. Edge cannot find devices to cast media. So all kinds of fixes there, it looks like, planned fixes. So that's good. Reading aloud of PDF files, that's pretty neat. Linux support. Other items in the list include options to support themes from the Chrome Web Store, support for Microsoft's Fluent Design, as well as a pop-up to ask users if they want to close all tabs when they close a browser window. See the full list here. This over on the roadmap site, community. Yeah, there you go. On this list 4, so they're kind of keeping track of how long it's been in the backlog and or not that's really being approached. Planned. Yep, there you go. If you're really into the Edge browsers and the changes that are coming, good post there for you. What else we got? Microsoft rolls out new Windows 10 optional update experience. See what's in there. Starting today, Microsoft's initiating the first phase of the new Windows 10 optional updates experience that allows users to pick and choose what non-security updates and drivers they wish to. Cool. Lawrence Abrams over at Bleeping Computer. They reported back in September 2019 that Microsoft was introducing a new section of Windows Update called Optional Updates that contain all the optional updates and drivers that are not required for the proper functioning of Windows. You'll be able to access those optional updates interface through a link in the Windows Update title titled View Optional Updates. Once clicked, users will be shown a list of optional drivers and updates that they can install. Yep. Cool stuff. All right. Microsoft Channel Chief on growing Azure preference and Windows Virtual Desktop. Can't wait for this thing to get really refined. Windows Virtual Desktop. Probably end up never buying a computer again. I'll just have this epically fast internet connection that can stream the most performant infrastructure I could ever imagine from the cloud. We'll see. What was that service, the gaming service? I bought into it for like a month. They were in the business of hosting these virtual desktops in the cloud with epic graphics computing power behind them. And as long as you had a really fast internet speed, you could like stream those games in full 4K or something like that. Guy? Yeah. Sounds right. Something like that, yeah. Yeah, I tried that out. It was not good. I have a really good speed and I could not get it to work very well. It was kind of laggy and yeah. And it might have improved by now. I don't know. Anyways, let's see what they're saying here. So this is coming from Kyle Alspach over at crn.com. Microsoft's looking to accelerate the move to repeatable solutions and services among top partners in 2020 while making major investments to help solution providers expand their work in the cloud. The move comes as Microsoft has reported a re-acceleration in growth for its Azure cloud platform, suggesting to some of the company that some of the company is gaining ground on chief rival AWS. We've actually seen a wave of customers, they're saying, shift to have a preference for Azure for a number of reasons. For one thing, Azure is now reaching beyond early adopter customers who are more conservative, she said. All of their estate is running Windows and SQL. Their preference is to stay with the provider that gives them the same experience. So we're going to see the preference for Azure change pretty dramatically for our customers. Stadia, yeah, that's the Google one. I can't remember now. Let me do a quick search. You got me thinking. This is virtual gaming in the cloud. It's gonna be like everybody built here. What is that thing? All right, I did one page worth of searches. That's enough. But we'll figure that out. Anyways, interesting information there. Yeah, preference for Azure. Of course, that happens here on this channel. I mean, come on, we're a Microsoft shop. We love everything Microsoft. Let me just check my calendar real quick because I don't want to be surprised by oh, you're supposed to be on this call. Half hour before my next one. All right, so last but not least for the top news stories, Microsoft's advanced threat protection coming to Android and iOS. That's freaking amazing. Got a good buddy, Lucas, really into the security space at Microsoft, and he's always posting. He's an influencer on LinkedIn. He's always posting about it, this ATP solution. So this is the first time I've heard, though, that it's coming to Android and iOS. So that's really neat. Microsoft revealed its Defender Advanced Threat Protection is coming to Android and iOS. Furthermore, the company has announced the Endpoint Security Suite is also available for Linux. Specifically, the solution will arrive on mobile at the end of the year, but is landing on Linux starting today. Wow. Linux got it first. What? Crazy. Windows Defender ATP was launched in 2016 and is aimed at enterprise customers on Windows 10. The service provides an early barrier against cyber attacks, detecting and dealing with incoming threats on enterprise networks. There you go. There's your definition. Microsoft expanded on what we can expect from the iOS and Android versions of ATP. It's likely the mobile apps will be significantly different on mobile and maybe only focus on specific areas of protection. Liquid Sky, is that it? Look at you still rolling on the idea. I gotta find this now. What's Liquid Sky? That's a movie. Software? Nah. I'll have to look it up again later. Microsoft Threat Protection. Today, Microsoft also announced that Microsoft Threat Protection. This is different than Advanced Threat Protection. That would have... Did I just butcher ATP? No, Advanced Threat Protection. Yeah. MTP is now leaving preview. It's generally available to all endpoint users. Oh, it's no longer available? That's funny. MTP includes AI-based intelligence, automation integrated into response, detection, and prevention to protect several solutions. It works across Microsoft Defender, Advanced Threat Protection Endpoints, Office 365 ATP, Azure ATP, and Microsoft Cloud App Security. So pretty much covers your endpoints, your email, your identity, and your apps. That's something. That's really the way the offering from Microsoft's really going now, don't you think? Kind of moving away from this Office 365 kind of package of services to now being Microsoft 365, which incorporates Windows and pretty much everything else you might need. So I think you're going to have this single service or solution from Microsoft to bundle it all together for us. All right, around the blogosphere, I'm just going to jump through a couple of these real quick because we're way over on time already. Let's just kind of read through it and see which ones seem attractive to us. So what do we got here? SharePoint and other geeky stuff saying, how does the privacy in Office 365 Groups teams affect the SharePoint site? That's a really good post, actually. If you're trying to understand how all of these things play well together and what the impact is for changing or creating or editing membership in any one of those areas and how that impacts the other areas that are connected, whether that's Teams, Groups, or SharePoint, this is probably going to be a great walkthrough for you. Good tutorial. And it is kind of complicated. It's tough to understand, so it does warrant a blog post like that. So if you need to catch up on that and spin up on permissions in SharePoint and those related services, then do that. Check that out. buckleyPLANET says, yes, Virginia, hybrid SharePoint is still a thing. We just kind of read about that above, so I won't dig into that, but hybrid has its place, that's for sure. Especially if you live in the DC area like we do, and you work a lot with customers here in this area, commercial, government, public, all that stuff, right? Then, yeah, you're going to have on-premises environments that still run hybrid or are moving towards hybrid, so yep, very relevant. You in SharePoint hack, should I worry? Yeah, we've done a lot of beating up on that story too over the last couple of weeks, so I'm not going to go into that, but make sure you're patching your SharePoint servers because you're going to end up like the UN. If not, don't be the UN. How to fix the authentication issues with personal apps using SharePoint pages. Let's see, what's he talking about? Kind of authentication issue. SharePoint's been out for forever, and I'm sure you have a lot of content on that you would love to start seeing on Microsoft Teams. So Visa did an amazing video covering a typical scenario of how SharePoint and Teams can be integrated without writing code, but unfortunately the solution fails when used on the Microsoft Teams desktop Microsoft Teams client, but it works in the web. So the solution for that is what? You gotta write some JSON here, it looks like. In order to make it work, you need to modify it either by editing the manifest.json or by adding extra properties to it using App Studio. Okay. Apps. I haven't even used App Studio. Not even sure what that is. It looks like something I need to dig into, though. Well, there you go. Learned something new that I got to put in my backlog of things to learn. If there's not 100 million of those already. So how to fix, did that one. How to create an alert on metadata value in SharePoint. Coming from SharePoint Maven, always good stuff. See what he's saying. So this coming from Greg over here. He says, a while back I published a blog post on how to create an alert in SharePoint. Today I would like to take this functionality further and explain to you a neat trick on how to set up conditional alerts based on metadata values. Here's a scenario. You have a document library with a status column and you'd like to be notified when someone changes the status of that document to approved. As we know, by default, it's either all modifications or none. So luckily, with the quick trick I'm about to show you, you'll be able to create an alert on metadata values, which in this case means that users will only get an alert when status is changed to approved. Intrigued? Well, grab some popcorn. Let's do this. So prep work. I'm not going to go into detail, but might highlight these steps real quick. Create a filtered view that captures a specific condition, then create an alert on a filtered view. Okay. That's it. That's all there is to it. There you go. Get some updates based on status change or metadata change. That's pretty cool. SharePoint development state in 2019, story based on SharePoint.stack exchange analysis with Power BI. What? That was a lot. What is this? The year 2019 is over, and once again, it's time to perform regular analysis of data and Stack Exchange. This is the 4th edition of such analysis. So tools used to collect and analyze the data. The report. Okay, as usual, let's start with tags. Not a surprise that in 2019 the dominant tag is SharePoint Online. Okay, the leap from 2009 to 2019 in tags is really exciting, though. Check out top tags for 2009. What were they? We moved from the publishing site and development to SharePoint Online in 10 years. Can you find those tags in 2019? I can't. That leads us to an interesting conclusion. Everything you know about SharePoint development right now will be invalid in 10 years. That's probably a safe assumption. Common stats on questions, total questions asked. So this is all related to the SharePoint.stack exchange channel out there. This is just kind of doing a summary and a report on the statistics that came out of 2019. In general, users are less actively asking questions starting from 2017. Approximately 60% of questions don't have an accepted answer. Wow. Need some community involvement there, huh? Nobody participating anymore. Yep, InfoPath still alive, at least based on the number of questions. So apparently, as much as we talk about moving away from InfoPath as a retired product for designing forms and things like that in the web and in the SharePoint world, the InfoPath questions are still very much alive. People are still working on them, still trying to troubleshoot them, and Stack Exchange is proof that we have yet to move off of that. Common stats on users. All right, so a lot of good statistics there. I won't go into detail, but cool stuff. I always love those kinds of reports. So send text and files to an Azure Logic app and to SharePoint Online. How to bulk edit a SharePoint list. Better integration between Dynamics 365. Hold on. Okay. Better integration between Dynamics 365 and SharePoint using Power Automate. Yup. Been doing that a little bit here. Microsoft 365 and SharePoint PnP weekly. God, it's always such a good call. Again, if you know, much like this newsletter or this particular stream, if you're hanging out because you're trying to stay on top of the latest and greatest SharePoint, you want to be a part of the Dev PnP calls, the SharePoint PnP calls. So definitely get signed up for those, attend those. It's free. You just jump online, listen in. They do a bunch of great demos every time. You get to see all kinds of actual real-world implementation. I don't know about real world. Chris Kent's Warrior Horses is probably not real world, but his demos on list formatting and things like that are just freaking awesome. So what else we got? Viewing, restoring, and removing items from the SharePoint recycle bin. The attempted operation is prohibited because it exceeds the list view threshold enforced by the administrator. Probably a good post too if you're fighting that. Backup and restore for SharePoint Online site pages. Let's see what they're saying. How we do that. They created a beautifully designed SharePoint site complete with all kinds of informative pages containing lots of text and markup. The question now was how they could create a backup of these beautiful pages in case something went wrong and they needed to restore them again. I know, you shouldn't have to do that, SharePoint Online, but sometimes people's minds need to be listened to. So it does feel kind of safe to know that it's in a backup somewhere so you can revert to it later. Or what about as a consultant, you have a number of clients where you always create the same help pages. Wouldn't it be useful to write it once, save it, and restore it on the other tenants? It opens the door to so many content ideas, reusable content across tenants. Yeah, okay. So as per usual, the people at the PNP community already thought about that, and Erwin Van Hunen demoed it during the June 2019 call. So that's why you got to get on those calls so you can see this stuff. It's good stuff out there. So you can watch the recording there. It turns out to be really simple. It only requires a few lines of PowerShell. Yep, there you go. Reusable content. Probably something very interesting. Test yourself on the differences between SharePoint and OneDrive. Okay. All right, last but not least, SharePoint events. So if you live in any of these areas, you should go to one of these events. I'm telling you, just go. You don't have to be a brainiac or you don't have to be an expert. You just show up and sit in the back of the room and listen in, ask your questions. Everyone there at these events is so helpful. Like, just friendly, helpful. So don't miss your chance. Get plugged in. San Francisco got SP TechCon. Actually, Rob is out there right now, standing in the booth. I don't know if he's in a booth right this second, but he's out in San Francisco at SP TechCon. So if you're out there, go hit him up, go shake his hand, get a beanie. Apparently it's kind of chilly out there. Everybody loved the beanies that we were giving away because it keeps your head warm. But go do that. So SharePoint Saturdays, though, coming up. We got Bremen. What else we got? Sacramento, Omaha, Vancouver. Yep. That's it. Okay. Got a few SharePoint Saturdays going there. Microsoft 365 Saturdays in the Chicago suburbs coming up. You got that Collab 365 GlobalCon 1 online, so you get plugged into that. I think there's free versions of that you can attend, so you don't have to pay for it. You get a lot if you do pay for it, but I'm actually thinking about signing up for that thing. Office 365 Saturday out in Redmond. What else we got? We got our PMC Cloud Part updates coming up. And then SharePoint Fest in April in DC. Man, I want to go to that. SharePoint Conference, Vegas. That's an amazing show. If you've never been to the SharePoint Conference, woo, a good time. Yep, and then SharePoint Fest, August in Seattle. Get some. That's all I got today, guys. I appreciate y'all jumping on, y'all watching, listening, chatting. I dig it. We'll be back next Friday. I've kind of stopped streaming on Wednesdays. I just don't have the time or the content really, but I think I'm going to pick it up here shortly. I'm really kind of focusing in on trying to do better at this and to get better content to deliver, as well as better equipment and experience, etc., etc. So got all kinds of ideas and things happening right here in my little home studio. So look forward to getting more active with streaming. But for now, I think we are going to pass on the Wednesday streams. Need to update my slide there. And we'll just be back on for Fridays for our SharePoint Weekly Newsletter Roundup for just a little bit. So I appreciate it. Thank you all for jumping on. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Nate, I'll text you later. Dan, see you Tuesday, brother. And then everyone else, you know how to get in touch with me. Please do. All right, see y'all.